Mi gente, you already know who it is. It's Danny Limelight. And I need all of you to subscribe to According to Woods podcast on Facebook, YouTube, and all other platforms.
What's good, party people? This is According to Woods, and I have the honor and privilege of talking to a outstanding wrestler coming out of the UK. She's the one and only Brodie. Brodie, what's going on?
Hey, how's it going?
Good. I was hesitant. Like I kind of like farted because like my brain farted because I was like, oh, should I do the whole Brodie Adler or because
I
she just yeah? I was like, oh no, what the hell? Yeah, but Brodie, so good to have you on. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. I can tell you've got the full day ahead of you because you've got some beautiful sunlight there.
Yeah. Well, actually,
yeah.
you know, that's the okay. Maybe I'm a stone's throw away from Hollywood. Maybe I might have a ring light because it's drizzling shits out there. You know, and I mean, it's California drizzling issues because I mean, in other parts of the world, this is like summer weather, but like it's cold for me. I'm fully engulfed in my vintage grappler sweater.
Well, you could be in Scotland when it was like 12 degrees this morning, and then it'll probably be like frosty overnight, and then tomorrow, who knows, it could be snowing or whatever. So it's an adventure here. It's lovely. It's great.
Whoa. But you guys have awesome accents to boot. So, you know, I would probably withstand a winter. And I'm saying that lightly because, like, I don't really do that. But even still, to get a cool accent out of it, yeah, I'll do that.
Do you know, it makes me kind of happy that you say that, because see, when I speak to someone with like an American accent, I'm like, oh, I'm going to sound so scummy and rubbish to these people, because I just feel like I talk really rough because I'm from Glasgow.
Yeah.
But then as soon as I'm like on a camera or something, I clean it up and I'm very nice and very proper. But no, I speak awful most of the time.
Oh, that's good. I mean, I like it. I grew up with a stutter, so like for me to be able to do like long formatted podcasts such as this is like the 7-year-old me would be proud because it would be like, let alone the accent deal. So kudos, man. Kudos.
That's lovely though.
Yes.
And now, like, you got your channel, you're doing your podcasts. Yes.
Yeah, it's a strange turn of events. It's the opposite of Lemony Snicket. It's the series of fortunate events, right? But you know, it's there. Which oh, cool. Graham Farrell wants to know over on YouTube. He says, Brodie, what's your favorite move to practice in the ring? And why do you kill me with it? Ooh, damn. Graham coming in with the heat. So we're going there.
So Graham actually trains with me at the school, and as soon as he mentions what are you going to kill me with, he knows exactly the move I'm trying to do.
Oh,
because I've not put it into my matches yet, but it's something I wanted to make it look perfect before I do.
Yeah.
And I hope he does. He's going to know I don't mean this in a malicious way when I say it, but I'm a big girl. I weigh like 220 pounds. I'm heavyweight material. Graham is
cruiserweight material.
The way we would put it is he's built like the gable end of a fiver. So he's a tiny little dude. So he's the perfect person to practice on for me to just run and pounce. And I just, every time I'm like, right, can we come in closer? And I can just try and get you like into the corner now. I just want to be able to shock people. So yeah, the pounce is definitely what he's looking for me to say there.
Oh,
but I might think of something even worse just to punish him with.
Yeah, Graham says 10 stone.
Yeah.
10 stone. Which, that sounds a hell of a lot better than the cruiserweight. I'm saying 10 stone. Like, I weigh 10 stone. That should be, there should be a 10 stone division in every major or minor wrestling company, even if you're not of the UK, even if you don't get the conversion rate. That sounds like I'm a 10 stone champion. That just it's got bullocks, man.
Yeah. To put it into perspective, I don't know how to convert stuff. I just weigh in like pounds and kilograms because I don't know how to work my scales. That's the only reason why I do it like that. To put it into perspective, Graham's like 10 stone and I'm about 16 and a half, 17. So I've got nearly double the body weight on that guy. And he knows that I really enjoy using that against him.
Hey, you know what? You're born with certain gifts, coming into, especially combat sports. People have some athletic backgrounds. Some people just have great genetics. It's crazy. Like, I'm Fijian and like African descendant of slaves or ADOS here in the US, right? And the same almost genealogy that resides in me is also The Rock. You swap out like American, you swap out like the American deal, and his dad was like French Canadian, and then his mom was Samoan, where my mom was Fiji. It's there, but then I'm all of like 5'9", which is like average height. So it's weird, but you take those, right? Like that size advantage that you have over Graham. You like do it, like bring it on.
It's fun. Like I know, obviously, I've always been like I've not always been a big girl. I was like a super slim little thing, and then I don't know. I turned 18. I found beer and just I enjoy it. So I just But I try not to let it become like an issue in wrestling, and instead I'm like, well, what could I do? Oh, I could really take this person out with like a leg drop. And I've always been very not using a leg drop as a finisher. So for me to be able to use like big leg drops or just throw myself on people, I know that I can just use it. So I might as well.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I just found out like a new T-shirt for you to kind of hawk at the merch table. Beer does a body good. Not milk does a body.
Oh my goodness.
Do it.
Trademark.
Do it. That's all yours. That's all yours, sis. I'm just saying. And Matthew Baker goes, "Let's go." I hope I did that right, Matt. Let me know. And Stone sounds intimidating. Absolutely. LOL. But really, I'm just saying. Now, DJ Yannick's over on Twitch. Good, sir. Good evening from the UK. According to Woods, pleasure to see you as always. You too. I love this guy, DJ Yannick. Shout out to you. Still rocking that gray hoodie. Yes, it's a vintage grappler. Wait, I gotta remove the comment. But it's a vintage grappler hoodie, which it's still in the works, so that's something that I'm percolating on. So it's my brand. I'm just saying. So
Very nice.
Yeah, I'm just saying. And NWA Bad Blood, the longest reigning NWA Pacific Northwest champion, says, "Where is she from?" So where are you from?
I'm kind of from like a little town outside Glasgow, but I just say Glasgow because I've always just been there, I guess. Yeah. Plus, I live in Glasgow now, which is even better. So I can just be like, yeah, I'm from Glasgow. But yeah, just Glasgow, surrounding areas in Scotland, as you can hear.
Which, I mean, it's a pretty cool time to be a wrestler coming out of Glasgow, because you guys have kind of been in a tear of like a lot of major wrestling promotions right now, right? Like,
oh yeah, and obviously like Kaylee Ray and Viper and Gallus and everyone, they're representing like hell right now, so they're making us all look really good and they're giving us a good rap, which is much appreciated because we couldn't ask for better people to do it, could we?
You can't. You literally cannot. And it's NWA Bad Blood says nice and great interview. Thank you, good sir. And definitely check out the Roundtable podcast with Blood and a litany of others. So check that out. And DJ Yannick says, my question to Brodie is, hi Brodie, I'm from Yorkshire. Can I say how I love your necklace? And question is, do you think, according to Woods, is the best host ever? You're too kind.
I mean, without question, already best interviewer ever. I mean, I've been listening to your podcasts while I'm working because I can still listen and concentrate, which is an absolute bonus. So yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Well, I thank you guys both for that. But I mean, it's again the stone differential, right? You've got to look for pro wrestling, right? So, how did pro wrestling find you, Mademoiselle?
So if I was to ask like any of my peers in my schools or anything like that, they would go, I loved wrestling when I was a kid, and I never ever brushed wrestling until I was maybe 19, 20 years old. Like I never saw it on the television. I never saw magazines. I never heard about it in school or anything. So I just kind of went through my life kind of oblivious, just thinking like, oh, boxing, don't like that. MMA, I'm too scared. So because I've always kind of been afraid of getting hurt, I guess. So I think I was like 19 or 20, and I was staying over at a friend's house, and he put on, I think it was maybe Raw, and the first thing I saw was Sheamus with his bright, bright orange hair and his thick Irish accent, holding this big, big belt. Like, what is this? And I don't know. I was just really, really intrigued. And I remember going and telling my friends, like, I was watching this thing called Raw on WWE the other day, and naturally I got the whole, but you know it's fake, don't you? Like, well, I liked it. I thought it was fun, and yeah, I'll probably just keep watching it. But I didn't have like Sky or anything, so I couldn't watch wrestling at home, and it never really crossed my mind to use one of these, a wee computer, to watch it. So I just kind of watched it whenever I went to my friends. But he was in a band, and he was saying to me one night, I'm playing at this wrestling show at the weekends. Do you want to come and see it? Like, oh, yeah, fine, but can I drink? Like, yeah, of course, you can bring your own booze. Like, I'm there then. No questions asked, man, I'll be there. And it was in a kind of wee section of Glasgow called Mary Hill, and it was ITW that was on in this community centre. And I don't know, something just happened where I was just, this is awesome. It was like nothing I had seen before, and regrettably got very drunk, shouted at a lot of wrestlers. I was one of those horrible fans that you don't ever want to encounter, and I was just goading everybody to much regret. And yeah, I started going when it moved to a nightclub in the city centre, but it never occurred to me that you would train to be a wrestler. I just assumed that you apply for a job and you get a job. You apply to be a wrestler and you be a wrestler. It never occurred to me that you had to like train. And this is coming from someone who was like 22 years old at the time as well. That I didn't even use my noodle. Like, these people must like really train hard. Where did they come from? So, there was a guy in a wrestling school who I used to talk to, and he was training at this wrestling school, and he said, do you want to come in and try it? And I just said, oh no, not in the slightest. I really, really don't. And I got talked into it over like 2 or 3 days, and I went to this session, and it was both one of the most kind of exhilarating and one of the worst experiences of my life, because I never realised how goddamn unfit I was. It was shocking.
Yeah.
But I went back the next week, and the next week, and the next week, and I was god awful. I was terrible. I didn't know where to put my feet. I didn't know how to even do like a side shuffle.
Yeah.
I couldn't run the ropes because I would just kind of run up and go. I couldn't run the ropes or anything. Yeah. But I ended up getting an injury through work like 6 months later, and I was still training, and I was still bloody terrible. But it was probably a blessing in disguise. I was a lifeguard at the time, and I fell into one of the pools and like completely twisted all my ankles, so I couldn't do anything. So that was in like the September, and then the next June they launched a women's class. So I thought, I'll give it a shot. Like, I know how to lock up at least, and I went along to the women's class, and it just clicked. Like, I felt like I went in and I had a completely different mindset, and I picked it up a lot better. And then I went to the women's class, and then I went back to the usual classes and stuff, and then it just, like 4 years from there, I managed to get onto shows and stuff. So it took a couple of tries. It took understanding
Yeah.
the kind of training side of it and stuff. But yeah, I was very late to the party, but here I am now.
But that's the thing. You're a part of the party. One would even say a private party amongst wrestlers, which I don't dig the dude's cornrow thingy. It's weird. I'm just saying. But I mean, it is what it is. And yes, DJ Yannick said, yeah, he didn't pay me to put him over. No, I didn't. At all. But I mean, DJ Yannick is what I'm saying is if you DM me your Venmo, you might get a payment there. I mean, to make it a paid partnership. So there you go, good sir. And honestly, no, you are absolutely credible. Now, Matthew Baker says, please ask Brodie who she looked up to in the wrestling business growing up, both male and female, and who she tried to learn from in wrestling.
Well, that's a big question.
Dun, dun, dun. Say the
um,
Bellas.
I mean, the Bellas certainly helped pave the way, didn't they? Like they were, yeah. um, I don't know. So I was never one to like really idolize like the Bellas and stuff, but I've watched Total Bellas a lot and I
Yeah,
love them now,
yeah.
and I totally kind of have a new appreciation for them. But when I started watching, it was like kind of 2010, 2011. So like Kelly was there, and Beth Phoenix was there, and Natalia,
Yeah.
and oh, what were they called? It was like Michelle McCool and Layla.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. Lake
yeah,
Cool.
really cool. How did
Yeah.
I forget that? So I loved Beth Phoenix because she was just she just looked so powerful and fierce, and I always remember just looking at her arms and thinking, I want them, because she's just got such strong arms, but she still looks so like feminine and lovely and stuff. And I'm not saying muscly women don't look feminine, because muscly women are beautiful.
Right.
So Beth Phoenix and Natalia were kind of the women that I looked to most. And then when I started kind of going to the indies more, I loved Viper. Like Viper was
Yes.
she
Oh
was
yeah.
my girl. I loved, and I still do. I'm saying this past tense. I don't mean past tense. I love Viper. And I love watching her matches. She just does everything so gracefully,
Yeah.
and yeah, she's just awesome. I don't want to. I don't want to start sounding like oh Viper and sounding all because
No,
I
I
will.
have an affinity towards Viper Nevin too, Viper. Because it's kind of crazy. The time that I grew up wrestling and not the archetype of what you would think of a traditional women's wrestler or like think about it, right? Like if you grew up of a certain age, my age, I'm 36, right? So, um, basically, I had on the WWF, I had Sensational Sherry, who is evil, right? And then you had maybe Sapphire with Dusty Rhodes, and then Miss Elizabeth. So those are the three, right? And then when we go roll around to like '94, you have Alundra Blaze and then Bull Nakano. Those matches were awesome, but a person your size or Viper's size or even Natalia and Beth Phoenix's sizes would naturally be a heel just because they look differently. And it's like I'm so glad that I get to cheer you. I get to cheer Viper or Marley Spartan or whatever. And you guys aren't the traditional sense of what like I guess my era of pro wrestling was. And that's cool. There's different I mean everything is fluid. Everybody is capable of everything. And it's just cool because if you just want to be the best professional wrestler, you the best anything, right? You don't have to be like the best girl wrestler. Some of like the gals. I mean, we had a WrestleMania where it was a women's three way that headlined. Right?
Yeah,
That's where we're at, and not because they're women, just because they work their fucking ass off.
yeah, exactly. Like I just think like I've been watching wrestling for only 10 years,
Yeah.
and when I started watching it, it was still very I don't know like women they just weren't quite there yet. They weren't. I mean, we still had the title of diva, which I kind of hate the fact that I kind of grudge the the name diva a little bit. I feel like it's got a little bit of a kind of negative connotation to it.
Yeah.
But seeing everything that's been achieved over the past few years, especially with WWE, like seeing like an all women's pay per view, and you have your women's championship belts, not your divas, and there
Right.
you've got your tag teams for the women, and it's just flourished so much in the past few years, and it's nice just to be able to see that change because like obviously there's so much going on in the UK at the moment with like women's rights, and women are just fed up with stuff
Yeah.
because a horrible incident happened last week with a woman. So there's been like vigils and marches over the weekend and stuff, and it's just nice to be able to see the difference and how we're like, no, this is our time and we want this and we will get this.
Yeah.
And it's cool to see it in wrestling as well, because when I just started training, if I told someone that I was training to be a wrestler, they would automatically think that I was doing like softcore porn, honestly. And they would ask me like, "Oh, is that mud wrestling you're doing?" It's like, no, it's professional wrestling. Like, oh, but are you doing like bra and panties matches? Like, no, bitch, it's wrestling. It's wrestling. And it drove me crazy. I hated it so much. But to have companies in the UK like Fierce Females and Pro Wrestling Eve and stuff,
Yeah.
it's just really, really refreshing. And I can't remember why I went on this tangent.
No, it's
I
great.
think the passion
Tangents
overload
are
really.
great for podcasts. I don't know if you know. You're not doing a 3-minute promo. We're going Broadway. Come on. This is what we go. This is why people want to watch it. This is why people want to listen. Because there's a little bit of Brodie Adler in all of us. And they want you to say exactly who you are and stand, just like you said. There's women marches of all the horrible stuff that have happened generationally. And you guys are like, fuck this. No, we don't accept this. Which is, I mean, that's the thing. It's just it's funny because like across my YouTube feed this morning, there was like the story of Jack Johnson, the ADOS, first black, as most people say, heavyweight champion, and how just people were just thrown in front of him just because they wanted to take him down, right? Just for a particular segment of people, right? Population, for a woman, for a person of color, anywhere in history, in any country you look at, it's a marginalized role to play. So when we get a glimmer and then also be able to have these transcendent personalities and people literally blow the door right open and just be beloved, right? Like the fact that, again, we're cheering for you. We're cheering for Piper. We're cheering for Natalia, Beth Phoenix, where, 10, 15 years prior, you guys would all be heels just because of how you look.
Yeah.
That shit.
Yeah, I am very I, when I was going to debut, I got asked, what do you want to do? Do you want to be bad? Do you want to be good? It's like, oh, I want to be bad. I really, really want to be a bad guy because I feel like, oh, I can be such a dick and
Yeah.
I can make it work for me.
Yeah.
And I remember being in training one day and there was a few guys who were about to debut and they all said they wanted to be a heel, and my trainer at the time said, Brodie, did you say you wanted to be a face? Like, yeah, okay. Like, and it's purely, I don't know, I think it's like an inner challenge thing because whenever we're doing promos in class, if I was told, right, you're going to be a baby face and we want you to discuss this and discuss this and discuss this, every time I would do a promo, I would heel turn every single time. And I just couldn't figure out how to just be nice. So I kind of figured, right, if I can debut as a baby face and I can make it work, I know that I can do that. So, and I'm liking it. I like people being nice to me. So
Yeah.
it's a bonus.
Yeah. I mean, it's a dichotomy. It's a duality that we all live in. That we live in life, and that's part of the experience, wrestling or not. That's it. Sometimes, if I skip meals, I'm total heel. You feed me, I'm face. I'm baby face. I love everyone, but like, yeah, don't feed me. No, it's bad. It's so bad, And let's see, and yeah, let's see. Oh yeah, we got there here, and then DJ Yannick says he wasn't wearing socks earlier. I've just taken mine off. Actually, yeah, I'm still not right? And do you think Brodie has socks on? I don't know. Does Brodie have socks on? And
I mean, we're still in lockdown. I don't take my slippers off, man. Like,
yeah,
I
exactly.
can't leave the
He
house.
says he's doing Morse code. So 3 fingers for yes, big stretch for no. I'm gonna go there. There you go. There, 3 fingers. Yeah, man, that's it. Yeah, the lockdown is weird. And WA Bad Blood said I just became a fan, as we all have, as well you should, right? And we're a fan of you, Bad Blood. Now, when you fell into a pool as a lifeguard, did you save yourself, or did another lifeguard save you? Graham. Ooh, such gems, good sir. So,
I'm
Brodie, tell us the
taking,
story.
I'm taking points for when we get back to this school, and he's getting his ass kicked for each
Oh yeah,
time.
you're getting potatoed all the way. But anyway, let's
I
do
am
it.
going to apologise if there's some noise because I've got a very, very insolent cat back there, and he's just wrecking the place.
Oh yeah, you should have seen
Um,
the one the other day where like literally my pug literally ripped my cord from my computer. It was fun. Yeah, so it
well, I
happens.
better not do that. I'll put him out.
Yeah.
When I fell into the pool,
Yes.
luckily for me, I was in swimwear at the time because I was. It's going to sound weird. I was hoovering the swimming pool, so you need to go in and hoover the bottom of the swimming pool. And I got out and I went to step into the spa pool and I forgot it was deep. So I stepped in and I slipped and I fell on my butt and twisted on my ankle. And then I just kind of sat there for a while. Like,
Mhm.
I'm just going to wait. And then if I can walk out, I'll give it a shot. And I climbed out and then I stood and I waved to my friends. It's like, I can't walk, man. Like, you're going to need to help me. And I'm soaking and I'm in front of all the customers and it's embarrassing. So, yeah, Graham, thanks for that.
Oh, that's a moment that will live in infamy, and you're gonna earn every stiff shot you had. So kudos to you, Graham. You're a brave soul. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. I kind of have a similar experience, but I am far from a lifeguard. I still doggy paddle. Like me swimming is like somebody struggling to save their life. That's just like what I do. And the American GI Joes, when Sergeant Slaughter was, I watched GI Joes just to see Sergeant Slaughter not in wrestling, right? But they used to have the cartoon would have like tips for life, and they were like, "Hey, if you fall into the water, you just scissor." Like that, you scissor your legs and you scissor your arms, and you should stay afloat. I don't know if it's actually true, but I tried and I flail. I flail. It's weird. It's not good. It's not grace is not something that befits me, but I mean,
I
I
mean, we've
haven't
got an
died yet.
advert in the UK that says the complete opposite of that. We've got like this advert. It's almost like a PSA, but it's not quite. It's just not quite as scary enough to be classed as a PSA. It's not quite. It's not quite slipping on floors with pots full of boiling water or anything. But it's just like, oh, if you jump into water and it's really hot, it's really cold. Sorry, just starfish, and then you'll float rather than.
That's well, we had one when I was growing up. Like it was somebody cooking with the egg, and it was like, "This is your brain with the
Your
egg."
brain on drugs.
Yes, and then any questions, right? Now, motherfuck, because cordyceps and psilocybin and lion's mane mushrooms, those actually enhance cognitive ability. So fuck off. So just
So I
saying.
only, I only knew about that one because of Bill Hicks, and I just thought it
Bill
sounded
Hicks,
funny.
yes.
And then when I watched the video, I was like, "That's weird, man. That's weird." Like, any questions? Like, yeah, lots of questions actually, man. Lots. That was weird.
Yeah, yes. No, 100%. And whoa, man, we're doing a hell of questions here. Bad Blood said, "I'd love to see your work." Yeah, I mean, we'll get that out to you, good sir. And no, I don't want your money, just your heart. Oh, and Trish Stratus and Stacy Keebler though. I mean that was a diva time period, absolutely. But I love that Trish didn't rely on a gimmick, right? Okay, yeah, she's pretty, cool, but she can kick ass. Like she can kick ass. Her with like TNA with Test and Albert to what she became. Like Test and Albert aren't in the WWE Hall of Fame. Trish Stratus is. Just saying. Just saying.
That's fair.
And bet they wear decent socks. I'm sure George Clooney will definitely know for the Stacy Keebler one. So that's nor here nor there. But yeah, well, and 6 p.m. curfews for men. That's it. And Woods, you forgot Luna Vachon. We'll never forget Luna Vachon. Yes, badass. But Luna Vachon will always be a face in my heart. She's just, and anybody that has like met her and everything, they'll tell you she's just like the ultimate sweetheart. So shout out to Luna Vachon. But that's the same thing. It's like if you look like that, you're a heel. And like now you have a choice. Like if I want to be a fucking raving lunatic, I'm going to. But if I want people to love me, I can do that too.
Yeah, it's a skill.
Yes. Oh, and in terms of the the protests, a copper killed a poor young lady. Again, fucking horrible. And it's horrible if that happens to anybody, right? Like male, lady, like all of it. It sucks. Like don't kill people, man. Just
Yeah,
don't.
like I think there's like a whole lot kind of extending from it. So because our country is still in lockdown, we're not allowed like mass gatherings, or
Mhm.
basically at the moment you're allowed to meet 4 people at a time outside of your house,
Right.
but as long as you're only from 2 households. If that puts into perspective, like how restricted we are right now.
Wow.
So um, the girl in question initially went missing, and then they arrested a policeman on suspicion. And I won't go into the nitty gritty, of course. We're not here for nitty gritty.
No.
But yeah, it turned out to be a policeman who kidnapped her and killed her. And there's been a lot of uproar from there, of course. Like there's been the hashtag reclaim the streets, and there's been a lot of like public anger. Like even in Glasgow, this happened in London, and in Glasgow, like all of our parks have now got the gates all lined with ribbons and flowers and pictures and everything, because everyone is pissed and
Yeah.
everyone wants change. But basically what happened at the weekend was there was a vigil and they get told don't do it, it's against lockdown restrictions, and it happened. But unfortunately the police went in and started manhandling women and huckling them to the ground and arresting them and stuff, and it was horrible. So that was in London. However, 6 days prior to this in Glasgow, there was a big event for a football team, essentially. And I know a lot of people are going to disagree with how I look at this, and that is entirely their decision.
Right.
But thousands and thousands of football fans went to the football stadium, and there was violence, there was vandalism, there was drinking in the streets, which you're not allowed to do in Glasgow. It was quite literally, it was a bit of a shit show. But
Wow.
instead of the cops getting involved in that, our police decided to give them a police escort into the city centre, into it's a big section called George Square, and they all got a police escort to party in George Square. And it's just like it's just the absolute polar opposite to what happened in London. And it's clearly because like the argument is there that you've got the Metropolitan Police in London and you've got Police Scotland, which are different kind of organisations.
Right.
However, what would you say is easier? Would you say it's easier disbanding thousands of predominantly men, just to be fair, predominantly men who are drinking and rowdy? Would you say it's easier to disperse them and handle that better, or to handle thousands of pissed off women? And which do you think that they would choose to do? Because kind of the main reason that they wouldn't have dispersed the football fans is because it would just cause more problems. It would cause riots. It would cause like so much more problems within the city at the time. But it was okay for them to do it at a vigil for a woman. Like it just kind of says, like, if you can see the two different situations and
Yeah.
see how utterly bullshit it is, it's just mental.
No. I don't know. Hi. I'm here in the U.S. We had our
Yeah,
shit show too.
yeah,
Like the whole year has been a shit show for many reasons, and like
yeah,
I mean, obviously not to compare, but like a similar instance happened where like, oh hey, I mean, I think a senator was just like he's getting called into question because he was like, I feel great for the folks that, obviously I'm paraphrasing, for the people that attacked the Capitol building on the 6th of January, but I I mean, if this was Black Lives Matter, I would
Oh,
feel very
completely
safe. I mean,
different.
unsafe. It was spooky language. Ooh.
Yeah, like you can storm the Capitol if you want and go and cause destruction, but
With
I mean,
guns. With guns.
but yeah, with guns, like, but if you're black and you're on the street and doing anything, like between just like hanging with your friends or anything, like you're already in a position of danger, and it just shows it's it's batshit, it's
It is.
mental because there we. It's 2021, man. Like we shouldn't be looking at things in terms of um I have a job
Yeah.
and you have a job and
Right.
I can pay less than you because I'm a woman and like I can go out and be safer than you
Yeah.
because I'm white. It's just it's
Yeah.
mental. It's
And
scary.
and also the trauma that happens. Like I will never, I don't think no matter where I get, hopefully I can afford a luxury car. I will never actually buy a luxury car because I will never be patriot. I will never be good guy, right? I will never be, hey, persevered. Like, and the people will have the connotation of hustling and grinding. Well, I grew up in Inglewood, California, where it's lore of hip hop, right? Where Inglewood always up to no good and whatever. I'm like, no, we're good. But I will still not get a luxury car, not even think about it because, again, that car, that part of like pomp, could get me killed.
Yeah. It's
So I'm good. I'm good.
yeah, it's completely unfathomable. Like I remember because we're in lockdown just now, we can't really do anything.
Hmm.
So my luxury at the moment is to go for a walk in the park at the weekend. That's my party right now. And I was talking to my friend about it the other day that I'd never realised whenever we plan this out, we say, right, well, we meet up at 2, and then that means we've got time to get coffee and get to the park. And by the time we're finished our walk, we'll be out of the park before it's dark.
Hmm.
And it's like, why are we actually like trying to plan our lives around not being out when it's dark? And it's just purely because like we've both had our experiences.
Yeah.
We've both walked about with our keys in our hands numerous times. We have got to a corner and broke into a run. We've had to pretend to phone people on the way home at 8 o'clock at night in the winter because it's dark and there's some creepy guy back there. Like it's and I didn't even realize until I was talking to her the other day. I was like, wait a minute, why are we just pure automatically planning to not be outside when it's dark? Like that is how ingrained this
Yeah.
crap is in us. And some like honestly, it took me till I was 30 to even realize I was doing it.
Yeah.
So it's mad. It's just mad.
It
And
is. And even like with the technology, I just watched like a YouTube video of this mom. Right, this mom was getting tired of her kid in cheer, right, getting ostracized and bullied. So again, we don't have, mind you, we don't have flying cars. We don't even have a way to figure out like what virus and everything like that. Even though some people in the know were warning us for like the last 10 years that the virus is the thing that could downfall of civilization, and everybody's like, crazy people, right? But so we don't have flying cars, but this mom, right, tired of her kid getting bullied and accosted and maybe even not cheer captain where she could have been or what her mom felt she could have been, she deep faked. Here's where we are in 2021. She basically superimposed the faces of opposition cheer squad members, making them smoke weed and everything, a code of ethics violation, right? She had time to deep fake her face so that her daughter could win at the spots in the cheer squad. And now she's up for 20 years. Well, rightfully so, if accused and found guilty. That's where we are. No flying cars, no Back to the Future, folks. But we got that.
that's mental. That's like pageant mom material.
It is. It's exactly that. Oh my gosh. Oh, I
Oh
can't.
goodness.
Oh, They talk about like the horror films, like that's
Yeah.
it. Dance moms and cheer toddlers and tiaras. Like, why would you make your kid? What are we? Whoa! What are we? Oh,
I
Jesus!
know.
Yeah, it gets
That's
weird.
nice.
It's weird. Now, I mean, the way that it should be. Bad Blood says, as a wrestler of 28 years, I don't see sex with workers. I see wrestlers and family, and that's that's pro wrestling. That should be kind of universal. But we're still kind of in the same ruts that we have been generationally. So we got to take a stand. Which kudos to the ladies of the UK for taking a stand. Hell yeah, I
Yeah, man.
I stand in solidarity. How about that? Like literally, I stand. All right, because those are my sisters. Those are my like you guys do it.
Yeah, man.
Congratulations. Yeah. And oh my gosh, Brodie, where did you get that beaker from? I love it. Please ask her according to Woods. You have a beaker behind you, do you?
Is it this?
I think so. Yeah. What is it?
Oh, I went to Download Festival, not last year. Last year is the year that didn't happen. 2019.
Yeah.
It was like my first festival experience, and it's like a kind of rock metal festival in England. I don't know if you know of it. It's just called Download Festival, and they done away with all their plastic cups, and they put these up instead. So you got to reuse them or be me and steal them all. So I've got a cupboard full of them. So yeah.
That's great. No, and you guys in the UK do music, especially metal festivals, way better than we do here. Like we might have, I mean, we had for a little bit Lollapalooza. That's not metal, obviously, but Lollapalooza and Ozfest. But it's nothing compared to like Donington and the downloads and whatever. You guys kick ass when it comes to that.
Yeah, because we've got downloads. Downloads the one that's at Donington. I think it
Yeah,
used to be. Yeah. And then we've got Slam Dunk. We've got this one called Slam Dunk, and it's like kind of punk rock
yeah.
festival. And then why can't I think of the name of this? It's like Bloodstock. That's it. We've got Bloodstock and like Reading and Leeds and stuff. Like yeah, we've got lots. And it took me till I was 28 to even go to a festival. I'm so behind on everything, honestly.
But you're
I can't
here,
live.
and you're not 28 now. What? Balderdash, boo. That's it. Ready? You're 28 forever in our
I'm gonna have
hearts. In
to
our
leave the
hearts.
country soon. That can mark off my list too.
Yeah, yeah. And then DJ Yannick says, Brody, is that a Rembrandt on your behind you, on your wall? And would you be interested in selling it privately?
Oh, do you know? I can't remember what that's called. It's it's an artist who takes like TV shows and like a film scene, and
Mm-hmm.
they make it really kind of dark and gritty and kind of grim. So we've got this one, which is from My Neighbor Totoro,
Uh-huh.
and then we've got another one in the back corner, which you probably won't be able to see from over here, but it's actually Moe's Tavern. Moe's Tavern from The Simpsons.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I know absolutely nothing about The Simpsons. I just know it's called Moe's. But
Me too.
yeah,
Me too. Yeah, I know. I get it in pop culture. Like I get the references, but I don't like. I haven't watched it. I think there was one episode where they were going up against like the people from Shelbyville, a border town, and it was almost like a simulation because they were separate. It's almost a parable of life, right? Like separate towns, just whatever, and they're kind of like, oh, we hate Shelbyville, oh, we hate Springfield or whatever, but not really no. And they had a doppelganger for it. Like there was a Bart Simpson, there was a Mart Simpson or whatever. I'm butchering the
oh
name, but
yeah, yeah.
yeah. But like that's it. Like there's somebody like us, and it's weird because especially with like the advent of social media and all that, whatever. Like as a people, we've never felt more alone. It's weird.
I get really majorly shunned for it, especially in my own home. Like I live with my boyfriend, and he is absolutely mental about The Simpsons, and I can't get on board with it. And God knows I have tried to sit down and actively watch an episode, and I'm just like, man, can I just go play Pokemon or something? Because this is boring the crap out of me. And I get it in my wrestling school as well. They all sit in, like, we've got our own little messenger group on
Yeah,
Facebook,
yeah.
and they sit and send, like, Simpsons gifs Simpsons memes and reply to things, and I'm like, what is this? I don't know, and I get crap for it. So, and I get it. Like, it's one of those big things. Like, if someone said to me, no, I say I don't think so, because a lot of people don't like Pokemon. If someone my age said they never liked Pokemon, I would maybe be a bit, but have you tried it? But I hate it when people do that to me, so it's a pure cheek, isn't it?
It is a bit cheeky, and that's funny
Yeah.
too, because like, you know, like my wife for kids, and that wasn't the prerequisite, but none of them like combat sports. They don't like wrestling. They don't like. It's not that they don't like it. It's just like if they're sitting down, it's just like, oh, it's because I have it. Like I have it and whatever. But they're not gonna sit down to watch. That's not the prerequisite. Like I still love it. They have things that they. Like my son loves Pokemon. I used to get into scraps in school with the people who had Pokemon cards, and yeah, it was kind of miserable shit, is what I was, right? And would do that, and then wouldn't you know who won the pony? Because like everything that I supposedly did not like when I was, you know, younger, that's what my youngest son does, and I'm like, I found the beauty in it, you know.
Yeah, it just kind of seems like, particularly with social media. Sorry, my laptop is doing weird things. It's kind of freaking me out. With social media, like it's a bit like kind of God forbid you don't like something that everyone else likes. Like it's like one of those. It obviously it's kind of turned up to 11, but when someone puts up a status on Facebook and they're like, if you don't like this or you feel like this about that, just delete me. And it's like,
Yeah,
why would you not want people in your life who are going to challenge your opinions and challenge things you like? Plus, if all I've got to talk to you about is everything we both like equally all day, like, you're not going to get bored. Do you not want me to bring new things to you? I want you to bring new things to me, man. Like, go out and watch some stuff and then come back to me.
yeah, I know. Or like, oh, if you don't like this, we're fighting. Why? What the fuck do you want to fight, man?
I
Like,
know.
life is way too hard as it is.
That's why
Let
I don't like
another
football.
conflict happen. What the fuck?
Football, it's just like, are you that fan? I'm this fan. We can't talk. Like, why? Why
Why?
can't you just like, haha, we won today, screw you? Why can't you just have gentle banter?
Yeah. Oh, civil discourse. Remember that?
Have a little
We used to
Discord.
be able to
Oh,
disagree, respectfully disagree.
feeling
Somewhere we
that.
fucking lost it, man. Don't know.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
weird. Yeah. No, speaking of exactly, Paul wants to know, did you have an uncle that wrestled? Whoa. Do you?
Well, Paul, who's just messaged, is my wrestler uncle. So yeah, that was. See, I've totally lied before, haven't I? Yeah, when I was young, I used to go down and visit family in England, and it would be at like, do you know what Butlins is? It's
What
like,
is it?
oh, it's like a camp. It's kind of like a camp
Okay.
kind of thing, but you go
Yeah.
with your family, and you've got the silly discos at night, and you've got the kids competitions, and sometimes they bring in wrestling.
Ah.
So I used to go. We used to go every few years or something, and then one year we went into the kind of camp club, and there was a wrestling ring there, and I thought, "Oh, well, where are we supposed to dance with the big dinosaur? That's rubbish." So I was a bit gutted, and then it turned out that my uncle, it was actually wrestling on the show, and my only memory of, like, I must have been about 5 or 6. My only memory is standing at the front seats with two large men in this big square thing with ropes fighting, and I'm just standing like that because it was so loud. I just remember it being so loud that I just, it wasn't for me, and I was a total scaredy cat when I was a kid. I hated any loud noises or just anything that would just kind of disrupt my aura.
Yeah.
So I didn't like it. But yeah,
Look at you now.
somehow down the road I managed to go my own route to it, which is kind
Yeah.
of weird.
Hey, it takes a little time sometimes, you know. And DJ Yannick so kind says, "I can teach you how to swim." Amazing, amazing chap you are. And I bet you look half decent in trucks. No, I don't. That's why I podcast. I literally, that's why I podcast.
Sounds like you got
Um,
fun.
yeah, I posted Jeff Hardy live music on your YouTube channel. Okay, all right. Thank you, Riddler. Yeah, hopefully they keep it up, because copyrights and such will kind of yank the channel. So just saying. And happy National Women's History Month, says James Wheeler, and also Scotland Forever. Just saying.
Hell yeah, James.
Yes. Um, and he- thank you for enlightening him on the constructs of what's going on over on that side of the pond, because he didn't know the full details, says DJ Yonix. So and he didn't mean to open a Pandora's box. You're fine. You're absolutely fine. And the world is a horrible place, but you're in it, so it's a little less horrible for me because you're in it. So, and everyone here, Brodie as well, because you guys are in the world, it's a little less horrible than it was even yesterday. So shout out to all of you, you know. And
Oh yeah.
Keyboard Warriors, shout out to the Keyboard Warriors, because if not for them, I wouldn't be doing this very podcast. They invited me on theirs and showed me how to do the thing. But the Keyboard Warrior says, I used to sell Pokemon cards during lunch in middle school. It looks like you guys are gonna be friends.
Yeah, anyone who likes Pokemon is a friend of mine. I used to get detention in primary school because of Pokemon cards. They got banned because they honestly they treated Pokemon cards like drug paraphernalia in my primary school, and like this dummy came in with a Pokemon card stack that big one time, and my teacher caught me holding it behind my back, thinking she's not going to see like 200 Pokemon cards behind my back, and she pulled me out in front of the class, and like I thought you weren't allowed these. Like it's cards of cartoon monsters. Why am I not? I I didn't understand. Like, and it's probably because some kids were getting upset because they were trading and then regretted trading and they would accuse people of stealing. Honestly, Pokemon was just absolute drama in my school.
Yeah.
It's great.
Oh, it happened here too. It happened here in the States as well, and it's funny. And kind of the same kind of categories. Like schools would kind of fashion and categorize Pokemon cards along with drug paraphernalia, which is wild when you think about it. Like, is little Susie going to be doing lines of coke off of Charizard? Like, what the hell? What are what are we doing, really? But I get it. The dopamine levels. Like, I'm trying to help the teachers out, the administrators and whatever. Maybe it was the dopamine. They were totally aware of dopamine reactions and such, and they knew what effect that would have on kids and the instant gratification. So that's probably why they scheduled it in the same class. That's what
But
I'm saying.
it's mad. I went to a terrible high school. I was brought up in the outskirts of Glasgow in a place called Renfrew. So if like anyone from Glasgow is watching, they'll know what Renfrew is like, and it's just not. It's not the nicest. It's not terrible. It's just not the nicest. But the high school I went to, in my time there, besides the fact there was lots of like, are you familiar with the phrase Ned?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we had like it was just overrun by Neds and bratty little kids essentially, and we we had one summer it was the stink bomb epidemic, and it was basically just like every time we were in between classes, all of the stairwells would get filled with stink bombs, and then all the corridors would. And our head teacher went absolutely mental about it. So the next year, it wasn't stink bombs; it was fireworks. The stairwells were lit up by fireworks, and then someone from the year below me phoned in like a bomb scare to the school, and the whole school and like a 2 block radius got evacuated because this kid phoned in pure there's a bomb in one of the classrooms. Uh, my primary school went on fire, and a bunch of the teachers get found out for bad activity with pickles and stuff. But no, Pokemon cards are not allowed, and it's disgraceful.
Yeah.
That is how stupid it was. It's like,
Yeah.
are Pokemon cards really? Are they really the main problem here, man?
That's. I mean, I do. You know what? Statutes of limitations. Because I have a similar story, but I don't know. I mean, I'm 15 years removed from high school, some odd, whatever. So I think I'm good, but I'm not. But I might have staged a bomb threat to the schools just so we can ditch. And
Okay.
then, yeah, and this is post 9/11. Again, not proud of it. Post 9/11, did that, whatever. And then they found, because I actually called from within the school, one of the school phones in one of the classrooms, So I snuck into a class that I shouldn't have been, called it, whatever. Then everybody there and whatever. And then they kind of found out it was me, took me into the office. And then I was in a ROTC uniform, like junior army, whatever. And I was like, I couldn't have done it because I'm there. And then when they were like, give your name, and I gave my name to my rival of that point, and they called his mom, and they were like, "That's not my son." And we had two lunches, so like as they were talking to the rival's mom and whatever, I slipped out the back door, so and ditched.
Oh my goodness! So you had like a full, like you pure came up with your own alibi and everything.
It was
That's
all on the
commitment to the
fly. This
cause,
was like
man.
calling it in the ring. It was just like, oh, this didn't work. Whatever, And it's not great because I probably costed like again. I've mellowed out in my older age, is what I'm saying. Like I wouldn't call it wisdom, but like I don't do such things anymore.
Well, that's a bonus. I still carry Pokemon cards, so I don't know if I've got
I
that
mean,
that much.
everybody's got their thing. And just saw Brodie's earring, and it popped a question in my head. It says, Graham, what is your favorite and hatred Pokemon? Oh,
So, just to put a little bit of perspective into how much I love Pokemon, I actually have a Pikachu on my arm,
wow. Okay.
but Pikachu's not my favorite. um, so, Arcanine is my favorite Pokemon because it's a big, glorious, fiery dog. I don't think I've a. Oh, I do. No, see, right. So I'm only really, really kind of in the know of the first 151 Pokemon. I paint myself as this big Pokemon fan, but from 151, I was like, that's a lot to remember, and I don't know if I have the time as a 17-year-old to remember this. So I don't know. I kind of feel like they got super lazy, and I hate a bunch of them now because you've got ones that are just a set of keys, and it's called like Keesley or something. You've got one called, is it like, he's basically just a bag of garbage, and he's called like Trasho or something. It's honestly, they got so lazy and it annoys me. So no, I have many ones that I don't like.
I mean, that would be just like, to me, Shittymon. Like, and that's like, you hear about like the dying days of WCW, and it was like, we had the ICP. Like, they were contracted talent of the ICP, Insane Clown Posse, whatever. We should have known. We were moving on. We had Medusa versus like a shit what is it, like a shit characterization of JR with Bell's palsy, and they're going against like so that's like the downfall of Pokemon. I would think, to me, is like, oh, Trasho, that's it. Like,
it's
yeah.
it's honestly just like when you have Pokemon like Arcanine and Pikachu. Pikachu is like the symbol
Yeah.
of the 90s and stuff, you know what I mean? And then you have like a bag of garbage with eyes. Literally, that's what it looks like. It's a green bag with crap coming out of it with two eyes, and that's it. And I don't really think I can forgive them for stuff like that because it's my childhood.
No, 100%, 100%. I mean, I agree with you there. And then Paul says, "Well done, Hun, for remembering me."
The Hell's
Hell's
Angel.
Angels. Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Oh,
What's that
my
story?
uncle's wrestling name was the Hell's Angel.
Oh, was it? Shout
Yeah.
out to you, Uncle Paul. Yeah, I love it. Oh, and then Uncle Paul says, just a question, Brodie. Did any other family members grow up to be wrestlers?
Not that I know of. Just me. My family hate wrestling. Like, I'm not even really allowed to. Not allowed to. My dad doesn't like me talking to him about my training because he doesn't want me to get hurt. My mum asks how it's going, and then she's like, are you still doing it? Are you going to keep doing? Like, do you need to fight boys? Like, my mum isn't really totally on board. My big sister does not like wrestling. She just thinks it's dumb, but she still comes to all my shows. She still supports me,
Yeah.
which is awesome. And I don't really talk to anyone else from my family, so I don't think they've become wrestlers. I think I would know, but I mean, they could be doing anything right now. I don't know.
Yeah, you never know. But sometimes it's that strife too. Like I think my mom watched for a little bit. Like we had this perpetual fight of like uh, me not remembering that there were two British bulldogs. She was just like every time I would root for Davy Boy Smith, and she's like, "You remember there was another one, and they used to carry a dog." I was like, "No, that would never happen."
Was the
And
dog's name Matilda?
Matilda, and then Winston.
That's literally the only thing I know about wrestling, like pre 2020,
Mm.
mostly, and it is the most like the name of dog. Like,
So, I mean, I guess maybe shameless plug, but if you go down to the According to Woods archives, I've got none other than Georgia Smith. Yeah, that's right. Davy Boy Smith's daughter, Harry Smith's sister, Diana Smith's daughter. Yeah, Smith used to be Hart, like the granddaughter of Stu Hart. Yeah, she was talking about such things.
that's so
And
cool.
yeah, so you can find that in the archives. It's a fun one, I swear. Yeah,
I have been having a wee browse of the archives, so
yeah.
yeah,
It's
I need to get on that. That'll be my new work
Yeah, there's
listening.
a ton of. I mean, like we've got some Killer Kellys in there. We've got some Josh Barnett's. We've got, it's Frank Trigg. We've got it all. Like everybody's a friend of the podcast. They're friends of mine. I'm friends of them. It's all cool. And even better, friends with Brodie. So I'm rolling with Brodie. Is what I'm saying. Yes. Now, and okay, you say that about the set of keys, but what is the magnet?
Magnemite.
Take it away, because I almost
Yeah,
Vegemited the shit. I was like, oh.
that's actually a good call. Magnemite is a bit of a shit Pokemon. He's just an eye with two magnets. Oh yeah, he sucks. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Boo Magnite.
Stop destroying my childhood, Graham. I love Pokemon.
Yeah, no, she's committed. She's literally got it in ink. So it's too far to go back now. It's just like people
Yeah.
with face tattoos. Like you can't undo that. Can't face tattoo and then be a banker after.
Yeah.
Good luck with that.
He's just trying to press my buttons, and he forgets that I know he lives down the street. I know his flat number. I will go down there. Ruin
Oh,
Pokemon.
damn, Graham. Oh, that's heat, sir. Just in case you guys are wondering. That's what heat is. That's legit heat. Holy hell. SWN Podcast. Shout out to SWN Podcast. And you should follow them on the YouTube and social medias. Shout out to them. But they want to know, what's your favorite dinosaur?
So the guys at SWN will know because I've been on there. They were my first podcast that I'd done. When I was asked that question on their podcast, I said a Triceratops. And I watched Jurassic Park when I was drunk on Saturday, and now I'm not too sure. Because I kind of like brontosauruses as well, because they have a big, long neck.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think I'll stick with the Triceratops. They're kind of cute.
Yeah, that's it. Not that anybody's wondering, but like, it's a pterodactyl for me. The thing that fucking flies, man. There's no wings to it, and the thing flies. I'm just saying, that's pretty fucking awesome.
I mean, crocodiles are kind of badass too, because
Yeah,
they're
they eat
still
you.
here.
That's a real life dinosaur.
Yeah, they're
Fuck
survivors.
Florida. I mean, unless you want to subscribe to the podcast, and shout out to Florida, but that's some weird shit. Those are like real life dinosaurs that just
Yeah.
roam around. Like, what the fuck what is that?
But they're always portrayed as evil, aren't they?
Mm,
Like, I suppose in Peter Pan, he wasn't really evil. Hmm.
Can you think of anybody with a pet gator though? And I'm sure somebody in Florida is like, I got a pet gator.
I don't know. I probably just completely conjured this up in my head, but I don't know why I can see someone with a gator and a harness. I don't know why. What was Steve Irwin? Steve Irwin's probably been like walking his gator one day or something, and like obviously when he could. But yeah,
That's great. That's so great. Oh my gosh. That's too Oh, that's so great. Rudy, you're awesome for that. Now, James Wheeler wants to know thoughts on Molly Holly's induction into the WWE Hall of Fame.
of course, Molly Holly's awesome. I do know who Molly Holly is. No, I think she's awesome, and I mean, she's awesome, and she's a woman. Not to be like just want more women in the Hall of Fame. But yeah, she totally deserves to be in there, man. So yeah, I'm chuffed.
Oh my gosh. Talk about one of the most underrated finishes, like, of all time. The Molly go around.
Yeah.
Holy shit. Like, I mean, people want to talk about, like, 450s and all that, and those are amazing, like Jody Fleisch, one of my talk about UK wrestling. Holy shit, Jody Fleisch. And
Yeah.
he could still do the shit like in well into his 40s, and he's just like crazy, crazy
It's
awesome. The
unreal.
fucking
Like there's no gravity around him. He just kind of
yeah,
like
he just
he's
fucking does
awesome.
it, you know? And yeah, so but Holly's Molly go around, holy shit. And her opponent would be standing and she would hit it and fucking sit on them and flatten them. Like like that's a sharpshooter. Good lord.
Mm. Yeah, because I didn't know who she was until I think it was like the first women's Royal Rumble that she was in, and
Yeah.
then she came out. And most of the time when there's a Royal Rumble on and like a legend comes out, I'll say to my boyfriend, like, who's this? Tell me who they are. And I think it was the men's Royal Rumble this year.
Yeah.
We were doing like a live commentary in my wrestling school's chat, and whenever they'd be like, "Oh my god, this person's just come out," I would just, "Who's this?" And I got so much crap off them, man. Totally deserved. Like, I'm not done enough homework. I'm still trying to catch up. I'm still in like watching training. So
Yeah. No,
but
and
yeah,
it's crazy because you don't necessarily have to be, and it happens again in MMA. Like you're like, oh, do you know who Dan the Beast Severn is? Do you know who Randy Couture is? Tito Ortiz, and they just don't know. They're daft in it, but you don't have to. You just have to train to kind of get good and get the concept of it and whatever. You don't necessarily have to be a historian, but then there are people that are historians of such, and then that could also kick your ass. And I'm like, whoa, what is that?
I think just because my boyfriend puts me to absolute shame, so he's got this really weird skill. If I was to say to him, uh, like a specific pay per view on a specific year, he will tell me what the entrance, what the music for it was, and then he'll tell me what the first match was and the headline match. And I could do this like with anything. I could ask him like WrestleMania 7, what was the music that year, and he'll tell me, and then he'll tell me what the first match was, and he can tell me what the headline match was, and he can tell me what happened and stuff. And I'm like, dude, I can't even remember why I walk into rooms sometimes, and you can remember all this stuff. Like, seriously, it's just, so I kind of feel he puts me to shame a lot, and maybe I just kind of need to learn a bit more. But I'm not going to be at that stage. I have the most horrific memory. Like, honestly, like, I remember I was watching a couple of your podcasts, and Leah and Molly were talking about like loads of different stuff from wrestling from the past like 10, 15 years, and I was like, how do people remember all this stuff? Because if I get asked what like the first match at WrestleMania this year was, not this year's not been. If I get asked about Royal Rumble this year,
Yeah.
I could tell you Edge won.
Yeah.
That's it. Because I just don't remember stuff. I
Yeah.
don't know why. I
I
just
mean,
I
it
just blame all
happens.
the knocks to
But
the
then
head.
again, like you remember, like the first 150 Pokemon, so we all have certain gifts, right? Like
Yeah,
it's
maybe
just
if I
like,
dispose of that, I'll
which
remember
I
next one.
mean, your boyfriend and I, we should be friends. And then in our newfound friendship, I am also going to introduce him to George Hermosa of the Wrestling Chatter because George Hermosa is like, might sound weird, like. Well, I was gonna say like my boyfriend. No, not that there's anything wrong with it, but
Is your wife
like
know?
your boyfriend to you is George Hermosa. Like if I need random wrestling facts, that is the dude. And he's been, and it's funny too because like he was on After Buzz and doing like the Raw after shows and have had, we actually on his YouTube channel we actually uh, interviewed Victoria, and it was me, George, and Victoria talking about the year-long feud between Victoria and Trish, and that's what we did for an hour. And I was like happier than a pig in shit because it's Victoria. I'm
That's so
just saying,
cool.
yeah, yeah. So, but yeah, so you, I mean, you are going to introduce me. And not to sound like, oh, you're gonna introduce, no, but please introduce me to your boyfriend so I could be friends with him, and then I could also introduce him to George Hermosa, and I just think our collective minds are going to be blown. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah, it could be a good match. I'll
Yeah,
at you.
yeah. I'm just saying. Yeah, and then and Graham says, according to Woods, I love your southern accent. Well, thank you, sir. I'm just saying. I just do it randomly. I'm a California kid. Like, why do I have a southern accent? I don't know, but it just
I just
happens.
thought it was weird you done a southern accent for Florida. I didn't realize Florida had a southern accent.
Oh, oh.
Is Florida
So
in the south?
Florida is definitely the South. Like,
Is
it's
it?
like literally like the most southernest. Like, I think that they have a like a gimmick where there's the southernmost, like there's a some sort of monument or whatever about like the most southern tip of the United States, and that is in Florida.
Oh.
Like the very tippy south of Florida, that is the most southernmost point in the US.
See, I'm just not, and I'll totally admit it, I'm just pure not the brightest. Like, I was listening, like I said, I was listening to Molly Spartans today. I was like, oh shit, she's like really smart and articulate and like intuitive. And I'm going to go on and be like, I really like Pokemon and I like playing games. And I just kind of thought, I'm going to go on and seem like such a dunce, but I don't know anything about like geography because I've never even left my island. So I don't know what's out there. Like,
But
that's
there's
why I thought Florida was up somewhere.
yeah. No, I mean, yeah, it's south. But yeah, well, you get like I said, you're good at other things. Molly Spartan's amazing. The Owen sisters amazing as well. But everybody has their own deal. And even Leah just got into it for Casey, right? And to have the feud. That's the only reason why. And then Molly did it in support of her now then her
Yeah,
now
yeah, I
husband.
love that story.
Yeah, and I
Oh, it's
think
so
it's
nice.
like those are things, and that's why like the why, like all the podcasts and interviews and all that stuff. I ask everybody's why. I don't think I've gotten the same answer twice, and that is fun. That is fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which speaking of questions, Graham wants to know, Brody, when are we gonna see some of that sweet merch hitting the tables?
When I can hold down a damn job. I got I got my merch designed. Oh man. I got my merch designed in like, oh my goodness, it must have been about May. It was totally like, yeah. So I got my merch designed like mid last year and I was so excited and I thought, I've only had 4 matches. If people want to say it's too early, that's fine. I think it looks cool. So yeah. Um and then I got made redundant from my job because we were in lockdown 1. And then I got a new job in lockdown 2, but then we went into lockdown again, and they didn't tell me that they couldn't pay me for being off work, like because I hadn't been there long enough. So I had to sack that job too. And then I started my new job last week. So I'm like, right, if I can hold down this job for 4 weeks, then I'll get my merch sorted. I will do it.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm buying some. So just so you know, I'm invested. So I encourage all of you to do the same. I'm just saying. Now it's fun because just the terminology differences I loved, right? Because so not to be deprecating, but like you, you've held jobs during lockdown like WCW World War pay-per-views. They had World War Three, World War Four, or whatever. You kind of did that, like the running numerical. You held down jobs like WrestleMania on any given years. That's amazing. But and the fact that you said, because I think the American equivalent is furloughed. What the fuck does furlough even mean? You
Yeah,
said made
I heard that too.
redundant. Made
Oh,
redundant. That's
so,
tremendous. I mean,
so
not
that's
really, but
totally different from furlough. Totally different. So I get put on furlough on, I don't know. I done a Fierce Female show last year on March 8th, International Women's Day. It's very well timed. And um, I went back to work the next day and I was like really, really deathly ill. And I completely blame my friend Kwaku because he was not well at the Fierce Female show. And I was being all jokey, not realising how serious everything was. And I was like, oh, get away from me. You're going to make me sick. You're going to have that mad corona thing. And I got really ill the next day, like really ill. And I worked for 4 days being really, really ill because my manager was like, no, we need you here. We need you to be here. And basically, at the time, I was a conference assistant. So I would arrange conferences, arrange meetings and weddings and stuff. Mm-hmm. And I was trying to nail down this really important contract that was worth like 30 grand. And we needed it to make the budget for the month. So he was like, no, I need you here, sick or not. You need to be here. You need to get this contract. And I mean, your girl totally got the contract. And then 2 days later, every event got cancelled for the next 3 months. And I lost the contract because of it. And I was so gutted because I worked so hard for it. But I ended up on the Friday just phoning my manager, like, look, man, let's be honest. Like, we're starting to huddle around computers in the office, seeing what the Prime Minister's saying about this mad virus that's going around. This isn't really the time for me to be coming in sick. So he told me, you're going to have to stay off work for 2 weeks then, and you won't get paid for it. I was like, shit. But fine. Wow. And I never went back because in October, basically in July in Scotland, we got to a point where we were at about 2 cases of COVID a day. And we were doing so well. We'd like pretty much just about eradicated the virus. And then things got way out of control again. And we went up to like, I think the peak was about 1,900 cases a day we were by the end of the year. So it got bad. And if you've got a global pandemic and we're all in lockdown, nobody's going to need any event space. So I got made redundant, which is basically like, here's your 4 weeks wage and just bye, don't come back. But yeah, the second job I got put on furlough. So I thought that I was getting furlough pay for being off, but they didn't tell me that I wasn't. And 5 weeks later, I was like, where's my money? I need to pay my rent. And they're like, oh, you're not getting any? Like, what? How am I supposed to live here? I've got a cat to feed, man. Like, seriously? So, yeah, long story short, I'll get merch when I'm fucking ready. Christ.
Yeah.
I broke my own rule. I wasn't going to swear.
That's fucking great. I swear. Oh my god. I mean, that sucks. But also, I mean, if you can't laugh at it, right? Like,
if you can't laugh, you cry.
Yeah.
So, cried for a day and then I laughed.
And again, this is something like that your job can do, right? That, like, talk about the demoralizing kind of ethics that you kind of have to, have to, like, imagine if your parents said, hey, Brodie, we're making you redundant. The fuck?
What does that mean? Did I leave? Can I bring my cat? But do you know what? My second job, which, like, I mean, if I'm on social media, I don't discuss what my job is at the time. So I just kept on saying I make donuts for a living now, and I'm in the dream job because I'm making donuts. And your girl likes donuts, man. It's not a secret. So I went to work in Tim Hortons for a while just to pay my rent, and I ended up like super loving it. Plus, at the end of the day, if you don't sell donuts, somebody's got to take them home.
Yeah. Hey,
and I ended up doing this bitch, and then go back, and I'm sad because I don't have any donuts.
Yeah, which, I mean, that's funny because I'm the same. Like, nobody knows what I like really do, and it's not nefarious reasons or whatever. But like on my Bookface profile, whatever, I'm a bellhop for the Shangri-La results in I think Bangkok, which I think is fun.
That's Bangkok. A commute and a half, isn't it?
I could be. I mean, I am broadcasting in the studio apartment, not in Chicago, Illinois. Right? It's a Colt Cabana bit, like not in Chicago, Illinois. Yeah. So that's fun, Yeah, I think it's cool. Graham says, "Love you, Brodie." Yes, because of that. Yes, that's a Mario Yamasaki. For those who don't know, Mario Yamasaki is a MMA ref that before all of the fights that he referees, he does this. So Mari Yamasaki. Now, questionable calls? Absolutely. They're fucking there. Like somebody getting bashed the fuck in, their head bashed the fuck in, and he's like, let them fight. Yeah, that's also Mari Yamasaki, which is a paradox. It's like, start off like this, and like, if he dies, he dies.
See, that's weird because Graham is actually currently our ref in the school for our shows and stuff. So, I mean, I don't know, maybe a stray forearm will come his way in a match just if he doesn't get out of the way quick enough. So, maybe a damn shame.
Oh, damn
Yeah.
shame. Which I might also say, hey, Graham Farrell, you might want to jump in the DMs, man. Let's get you on this thingamabobber, is what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a good guy. He'll be in the ring with us super soon as well. He's been training for a bit, and yeah, he won't be our ref for much longer. He'll be getting pummeled by me instead. So
10 points.
Can't wait.
Ref Dami over in Finland is doing the same deal where she's starting off as a ref and hopefully getting her bearings in as a wrestler. So, I mean, it worked for Danny Davis back in the day. It worked for Shane Sewell, the Golden Boy Shane in TNA. And, there have been wrestlers that have been able to transition over. So, I mean, it's not for naught, right? Which I got to ask, you were getting your bearings in terms of, working live shows as a wrestler, as, getting the training done and all of this jazz, and it just gets ripped away from you, right? So what do you miss the most about the life experience?
I mean, the thing I miss most about wrestling is probably like the camaraderie that comes with it. Like, I'm very lucky to be in a school where I can't say there's anyone in my school that I dislike. Like, I love all the guys, and granted, there's only like 3 girls at the moment. We'll get more, but they're all just like we call ourselves like the Source family because our school is the Source Wrestling School. So
Yeah.
I kind of miss going along to like training and going to shows, and we'll support each other, and then we'll make fun of each other, and then we'll just hang out. That's honestly what I miss most, and it sucks because where I live just now, I live a 20-minute walk from my school, and I moved here so that I could be close to my school.
Really?
And then I've actually lived here more in a lockdown now than I haven't, which is weird to think of. So yeah, but I don't know about live shows. I only had 4 matches before lockdown started, so I was still kind of trying to find my niche with the crowds.
Yeah.
But I think more just I kind of feel like the time that I've not been there, I've not been able to kind of find myself, if you know what I mean. Like,
Yeah.
I'm still at the stage in my career where I don't really have like a gimmick or anything like kind of backstory or anything. Brodie is just kind of an extension of who I am at the moment. I don't know. I'm a bit more ballsy when I've got her name plastered on me and when I'm getting called as that name. That's all it is. But yeah, I just kind of miss being around people of the same minds at the moment. Yeah, miss my boys and my girls, but
Yeah, same here. And I was fortunate enough. Like most of my career, I didn't even have to get out of Southern California. We literally, pre-COVID, would either have an MMA, jiu-jitsu, pro wrestling show, like, sometimes twice in a day, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday for every week for the last, at least for me, 5 years. I mean, I was speaking to a coach the other day, and it was him for 15 years. 15 years, either reffing, coaching, being a corner person, like cut man, whatever, and then it all just goes away after 15 years of just pounding pavement. Oof.
Yeah, that sucks. But hopefully we're getting there. Like, we're seeing a wee bit more hope every day. Our vaccine program thing is going well. I'm already halfway there with my vaccine, so I'm like, I'll come and wrestle y'all. I'm happy.
Yeah.
But yeah, kind of hoping like at least I think they're saying the end of April we're allowed to open gyms, which would be nice. So Like, if I can go back to the wrestling school in May or something, like, I'll be happy with that. But obviously, it's not a guarantee. But I'll be able to go to the gym, which I'll be happy with. But yeah, kind of need to. There's no point in sitting and wallowing anymore. I'm kind of over sitting and wallowing. I'm just weird to get back.
Now, as you say that, LA County just opened up gyms and bars and indoor dining. Yeah, we'll see how that shit goes. I'm in the house still. Okay, like my wife, like she was supposed to work remotely from this, this place and everything, but they gave her one task. Like, she started on a Monday, they gave her a task on Thursday to come to the site and grab some stuff. Well, the subsequent Tuesday, she tested positive, as did the. So, luckily it went away like around Thanksgiving here. Like, we had to spend Thanksgiving away. Yeah, we were kind of mourning the fact like we weren't going to be around like family, right? And then like our two youngest sons were sequestered in one room. I was out here in the living room / studio. My wife was in the room, so we couldn't even spend the holiday together. So it just puts it into perspective,
Yeah, you see a lot of people kind of like, I've been able to like see my mum like from like back gardens and stuff or whatever, but what's really hit our family most is my big sister is she's 9 months pregnant now. So she fell pregnant during lockdown last year, and my parents have had to miss like all of it. I've been very lucky that I can go over and I can help her out with stuff, and I'll bring her shopping and do like way over the top baby shops because I am so excited. But it sucks that they've missed the experience of their first grandchild almost, and we're still going to be in lockdown when she has him because Christ, she is ready to go. Mm-hmm. So it'll be a case of like visits through windows and stuff to see their first grandchild, and it sucks. But I think it's the reason why it's so disheartening to see people just go against the rules as heavy as they do. Like when they do, like if I go for a walk in the park and there's like a group of 16 people sitting with a can of Tennent's, and it's like, dudes, why are you doing this? Like, why can't you just help us get to where we need to be? Then we can all party. It will be great. And it's just, I mean, like my upstairs neighbour, I'll speak quietly just in case. My upstairs neighbour had like a party a few weeks ago, and I was sitting like, man, I want to see my friends. That's not fair.
Yeah. That's
Have you had the COVID test? Have you actually had one?
Oh, I've had 6.
Are they not the worst things in the world?
No, they're not. But the gimmick in the nose and that's not fun.
No,
not fun.
I got one, and I kind of feel like the girl maybe didn't like me because it was very. I don't want to use the word invasive, but it was very invasive.
Yes, it was. Like, I was like, should I be leaving the money on the nightstand after, or should you do that for me? Like, I don't know. Like, are we gonna have dinner after this? Like, it was weird. Weird. Yeah, just saying.
I just want to avoid it forever.
Yeah. Grandma's like, Brodie, forget me over. For that, I will be happy to take your black hole slam. And that is something that you can only utter in wrestling, and you get it, but you can't say it in everyday life. So shout out to Graham Edwards. I will
put you over, man.
Yeah, and I will do so. So yeah, get on those DMs, my friend. We're gonna do the thing. Now, obviously, Brodie. Well, I meant to get this at the top of the podcast, but I gotta know, right? Brodie Adler. I want to think that I know, like, where this comes from. Right?
I think you know half of where it's come from.
Okay. So you can nod. Steven Adler, Guns N' Roses?
No.
Really? I thought that was a shoo-in.
I didn't even know that was his name.
Really? Okay.
No. So Adler actually comes from a computer game character. So my favorite game is Red Dead Redemption 2, and there was a woman in it called Sadie Adler, and she basically got picked up from, like, her husband was murdered, and this gang were just trying to kind of have their way, and they were going to kill her and stuff, and the kind of protagonists came in and picked her up and took her away, and she was just really like vulnerable, and she was just an absolute shell of a woman. And throughout the process of the game, she just turned into this gunslinging, bounty, badass bitch. And
Yeah.
by the end of it, she was just so cool. And I thought, that's the kind of bitch I want in my name. I need that. And she's just awesome, honestly. So I kind of wanted something from Red Dead,
Yeah.
but it was kind of one of the only things I felt like I could take, and it went well with Brodie because my name initially was going to be Brodie Abbott, and Abbott came from Dimebag Darrell.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
Dimebag and Vinnie Paul. Hell yes,
So
hell yeah. It's
it was
yeah.
going to be Abbott, and then I thought, you know what? I've already got one music reference in my name. Like, let's get something a bit different. So yeah, it became Adler.
Well, I love it. Well, see, it's fun because I was so the Dirty Daddy Chris Dickinson, right? Bloodsport alum, and he's done stuff for Championship Wrestling from Hollywood and all of that jazz and New Japan. But he actually, the Dickinson from his name comes from Bruce Dickinson of
Oh,
Iron Maiden.
nice.
Yes, yeah,
Yeah, that's. I mean, as we both discussed the other day, I got Brodie from Brodie Dahl, and not just because I think she's cool and I like her
yeah,
band,
yeah.
but when I was growing up, and I was kind of starting to find my own music taste out with what my sister would play, I listened to Kerrang a lot, and I would read Kerrang magazine all the time, and it was
Mm-hmm.
always, and I would take the posters out and I would plaster my room with all these posters, and it was all dudes, and I never really realised it was all dudes until Brodie Dahl turned up, and I looked at her and
Yes,
I was like one, she is so punk rock and she's so
yes,
badass, and she's like stunning, but she just seemed like she just wanted to come in and just be this riot girl, and I loved it. And then I thought, right, what do you do? Where are you from? And she was from the Distillers, obviously, and I listened to the
mm-hmm.
Distillers and was like, they're amazing. And I just fell in love with it because it was like the first woman that I found in such a male dominated poster room, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just remember it always stuck in my head that I just thought she was so cool because she wasn't like any other woman I'd seen in a magazine, and it just always stuck with me. And I didn't want to have the same spelling as her. I thought I would have my own kind of take on it.
Mm-hmm.
So I spelled it with an IE instead.
See, I love that. Which did I send you a particular video?
Yeah, you did. And
Yeah,
it was great. I
with
loved it.
Brodie, right? Singing.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, I had seen
So
it.
I mean, definitely subscribe to this podcast, but also like there is I think it's like 2 minutes to midnight, right? They're out of Vegas, Las Vegas, Nevada, but they do covers. They do covers and they do awesome shit, right? But I sent Brodie a cover of Brodie and a litany of other, like I think Frank from My Chemical Romance,
Yeah.
MCR, yeah, and just they're doing a like a punk rock metal esque version of Annie Lennox's Walking on Broken Glass. And you didn't think you needed that, but you fucking do. Like all the sweet dreams and everything that you know about Annie Lennox or whatever. First off, my favorite Annie Lennox song, Walking on Broken Glass, it's a fucking masterpiece. But them doing it, a fucking amazing. Amazing. Good lord. And I mean through that channel, I also there and I everybody also Royal Thunder. Royal Thunder. Because on that same page, the 2 minutes to midnight page, they it's a husband and wife, right? The bass player is the wife and lead singer. I can't I'm blanking on her name, but her voice is just it's so gritty. It's so powerful. It's just like that's fucking metal, right? And it's amazing. But her and her husband are like she's the singer and bassist and he's the guitarist and two of their friends, right? Well, on the 2 minutes to midnight channel, they do a live cover pre-COVID of Cher's Believe. Fuck yeah, you need that in your life.
Sounds cool.
I'm just saying. Just saying. Yeah. So obviously, Brodie, you are amazing. Thank you for doing this. Now, let's get some shout outs out of the way because I mean, professionally, personally, there have been a lot of people who have been attributed to the awesome person that is here. So take as long as you like. Let's get some shout outs out of the way.
Okay. I've not seen anyone in a very long time, so if I can't remember, then don't grudge me. We've discussed my memory. So all my guys at Source. So I was actually about to list them all there, but it would exhaust me, and I know I would get ripped apart if I missed anyone out. I'll try. Alexander Darwin McCallan. He's a kind of big person in my wrestling life. I met him when I started at Source, and he's always been he's a really, really good guy to have on your side. He's so knowledgeable, and he's so patient, especially with somebody like me, because sometimes I can just I have no idea what we're talking about. So yeah, he's been amazing, and I had the absolute pleasure of tagging with him last year, which was so much fun considering I'd never done a tag match before. And if you ever see the match that it is, it's like a 6-man tag. You can probably just see my face is terrified the entire time because I'm just trying to remember every single little bit of what everyone is doing, and it was torture. So he's been amazing, and he's someone in the wrestling scene that I feel like I can really connect with and speak to and stuff. All the guys in Source, like Luke Matthews, Taylor Veit, whose name I got wrong on the last podcast, and I have never heard the bloody end of it, which I totally deserve. Grant McIver, Big Daddy D is not his name. His name is Glenn Dunbar. He is one of my head coaches, and he is just the most incredible human that you'll ever meet. He's so patient and lovely, and he's been an amazing trainer with me. And at a time that we couldn't do group sessions, he focused on like kind of strength training with me, and he really kind of made me see that I'm not useless. Like he always, I've got this bad habit of apologising for every single little thing I do in training, and I'll always be very self-deprecating, and I'm always like, I can't do that, and he's always like, I told you you could do it, I told you you could do it, and he's just brilliant. He's like the granddaddy of our school, but I call him Big Daddy D because he's a dad now, and I think it suits him. So yeah. I have a very close friend called Laura, who, God love her, she was supposed to debut on the night that I debuted. I was not meant to debut. So she was supposed to debut in October, and the day before her debut, she took really, really ill, and she got taken into hospital for about 10 days, and it's turned into this whole thing for her. And God love her, she has been an absolute legend through everything, and she's taken everything that has come at her and she has knocked it all out the park. She's been 10 times the woman I could ever be. But one of the greatest things about her is she never grudged me for what I did. And that is, when her debut didn't go ahead, our trainer at the time rescheduled it for the 30th of November. And he said she didn't get her debut. We're going to do a show on the 30th of November for her to do it. But she didn't get cleared and she wasn't well enough. So this bitch took it instead. And I took her debut date, and I felt horrible about it forever, and I still do. But at the same time, like, I got to debut, and I asked if I could go on it, and I got to. And she trains really hard, and she really puts her heart and soul into everything. But more than that, like, through the last year of lockdown, she's been the most incredible friend in the world. And when we got to go back to Source and Fierce Females Dojo, she was just amazing to train with. And she's just always so patient. To put into perspective, Laura is 4'11". I am 5'3", and she quite literally weighs about half the weight that I do. She's a tiny little person, but she is an incredible wrestler, and she can make me look good as well. And we work really well together, and she's just been brilliant. So you owe me a coffee for putting you over that much, bitch. But yeah. Yeah, just all the guys at Source have been amazing, and they're always so supportive of everybody. They'll never say a bad thing to you. They're very good with constructive criticism and being supportive that way. The Fierce Females Dojo has been awesome. Granted, we only got to open in September when we came out of lockdown.
Yeah.
So we got to open for 2 months and then we shut again. And I've got an incredible trainer there in Aisha Raymond. She's one of my favourite wrestlers and she's become a very good friend of mine. So she's been brilliant. She's so supportive. That along with the women who actually run Fierce Females. So we've got Tony Shivers, we've got Sammy Jo, who's been she was a wrestler in our school before and she retired during the summer there, but she's always been fantastic and she's always been like, I don't want to call her wrestle mum because some of the kids in Source call me their wrestle mum and I felt like I aged about 10 years when I got called that, even though it's a nice thing. So yeah, Sammy Jo, Aisha, Tony and Miss Veda, who have been amazing. Veda doesn't realise how much she's taught me outside wrestling. So she helps run Fierce Females and she's taught me so much about, like, it's going to sound kind of silly. She's taught me so much about like women empowerment and celebrating yourself and not beating yourself up, because I was not this kind of person 4 years ago. I was always very like, I wasn't really feminist or anything, and I was just always like, oh, well, a woman would do that, and a woman would say that. I was a bit of a shithead, basically. Wow. But I'm not now, and I feel like Veda has been a big, big part of that for me. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, everyone at Source, everyone at Fierce Females, I haven't had the opportunity to branch out just yet due to lockdown, but they're like my wrestle family, and before I've even found my feet, and they've been fantastic, and I can't wait to go back and dish out each and every one of them a big smoking forearm, apart from Veda and Sammy Jo and Tony. Well, maybe Tony, we'll see how we feel. But yeah.
I love it. And I mean, just shout out to your parents, because if not that, you wouldn't be here.
Good. My mom and dad, who don't like me wrestling but have been amazing and let me wrestle. Like, they could easily just come and lock me in the house. Yeah. And I actually showed my mum one of my matches, and she spent it like that, which was amazing. Yes. I really do love seeing my mum's reaction to me wrestling. My big sister has always been like my best friend, and she's always been the person that I look up to most in life, and I like to follow in her footsteps, because she's just the strongest, most independent woman I have ever known. And Christ alive, seeing what she's going through in pregnancy has just made me admire her so much more, and it's terrified me. But yeah, she's the best big sister in the world. She's the best friend in the world, and she's about to be the best mum in the world. And I can't wait to see and watch you deal with this. Yeah.
Oh my God, Misty eyed. Good Lord, somebody's chopping onions is what I'm saying.
Other than that, my boyfriend is absolutely amazing. Yeah. He has plucked me out of the bath when I have like tore my shoulder. Yeah. He's helped carry carry me over his shoulder upstairs because my knee is just constantly buggered. He bought me my beautiful wrestling boots for Christmas, and then accidentally put them in the bin, and then bought me a new pair.
That is the worst and best thing ever. Good job.
I wanted these wrestling boots for ages, and he bought me them. And when I opened them, I was like, "Oh my God, they're so beautiful!" And I left them in the box so that they would keep nice. And he picked up the box and he went downstairs to recycling, and they disappeared forever. And then he bought me a new pair. Even though I was absolutely not to blame, I felt so guilty for it for no reason. But he's been brilliant. He's come to all of my shows. He's even went into work, and he works a lot because he's a chef. Wow. Luckily for me, he's a pizza chef, which is
you know how to pick him.
Yeah, I got good taste, man. You should see this boy. Yeah. Yeah, he's even been able to leave work early and come and see me. He listens to my podcast. He watches my matches with me. And I like to watch my matches every now and again so I can just remember that I actually do this. And he sits and watches it with me. And he's patient with me when I hate The Simpsons and when I don't know stuff about wrestling. And he's just all around the best. And then I've got my other friends like Heather. She's come to all my matches. She's travelled through from Edinburgh to come to my matches with her man Jamie, who's also my friend, and she never ever fails to pick me up. She calls me a queen all the time, which no one else calls me. She's honestly just the most beautiful human being in the planet, and she's the most supportive person in the world. Yeah. And then I've got my other best friend Nikki, who comes to all my matches and doesn't understand a thing about wrestling, but totally embraces it for me. So yeah, I've got a very good circle of friends who don't know anything about wrestling and don't care about it, but still like to come support me. Yeah. And then I've got a very good wrestle family. So yeah, that shout out went on for a while, but it kills time, doesn't it?
But I fucking love it. And again, it takes a village to raise one, and it's awesome to see that you have an incredible village behind you. So shout out to all of them. Now, before we go, slinking in, right? Here's a run-in. Manlon 1993 says, "Yo, sub, why is Digimon better than Pokemon?" Yo,
so you could probably see that I initially got really excited to see Manlon's name there, and then he completely stole the moment from me.
That's a double turn. Face heel. There you go. He taught you something.
Manlon's one of my source brethren, and he's one of the sweetest dudes in the world, and God love him, he does not give himself the credit he should. Some of the best matches I have seen in Scotland have had his name on them, and he's just fantastic. But bitch, if you ever see Digimon is better than Pokemon again,
she's gonna cut you. Literally. Shit. There's fire in the eyes. Good Lord. Ugh. Oh my God. Yeah. You're a brave soul. That's Graham and Manlon. Like, brave souls are they? Good Lord.
It's because people can't wrestle them just now. That's why they're being so ballsy.
Okay. Yeah. There's a method to the madness. I love it. Which, back to the, Molly Holly. I forgot to mention, because we mentioned about Trish and, her being in the Hall of Fame. But Molly Holly, she started out as a valet for Macho Man in WCW, right? So to have her as, that's two valets, and Trish and Molly, Lita as well, right? Lita was, Miss Mad. Well, I forgot what she was called in ECW, but yeah, Lita too. Like, there's three, and you could even say Sherry too. Sherry started off Moolah. It's cool. It's really cool that, we've got this whole kind of like, you start as one thing, and especially for the time, all women could be was valets, right? And then it took these, and then like, oh, of course you're a valet. You're pretty, right? And then now you can be pretty and kick ass. You can be pretty deadly. There, you see what I did there? Pretty deadly. What are you saying? Yes. And she is on to us, Mannion. She's on. Oh, there you go. Just saying. Secret's out, boys. So run.
This boy Graham, by the way, he does himself no favours, because like, I feel like I've put Graham over quite a bit tonight. I think I've been very, very lovely, but he needs to take that into account, because one, know where you live, and two, like, dude, I can lift you over my head and I can throw you, and you're continuing to mess with me. Honestly, at least one person in the school puts you over, and you're like, shit.
Yeah. So, in the words of the pre-fiend Bray Wyatt, run. Just saying. Now, obviously, Brodie, you have been absolutely lovely, but to spread the warmth, spread the cheer, where can people find you on social media?
They can find me, totally not checking my phone to see my handles right now. I went out my way before this to actually memorize them, and it's bad, isn't it? So you can find me mostly on Twitter, where I am still trying to learn how to speak and share things on Twitter. I guess I'm a bit of a Luddite. So you can find me on Twitter at Brodie_Adler. And I remember it's different from Instagram, because Instagram is at Brodie.Adler. And Facebook, don't be lazy, search my name.
It's literally right there. Why do you think I'm according to Woods? One thing. Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, there's even a TikTok, whatever. all according to Woods, because
So
I'm a
much easier.
simpleton, is what I'm
None of
saying.
these silly characters. It's great. It's
Yeah,
lovely. It flows.
yeah, just saying. Yeah, and yeah, Graham says you have Brodie, and I love you for it. And you
Look
are
at
my
you
wrestling
fucking up.
sister. That's see, you've redeemed yourself. Yes, you might want to help out your brother Manlon because shit's still getting real. So shout out to both of you guys. Shout out to all of you guys there. And Brodie, again, thank you for doing this. This is amazing. Yeah, man, this is amazing. But also amazing is you guys out there, right? For watching this very podcast. So if you haven't already done so, go ahead and like, share, and subscribe to the According to Woods podcast on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch, right? And I mean, Brodie, you're subscribed, right?
Hell yeah, I'm subscribed. Subscribed on Twitter, on Instagram, and YouTube.
Yeah, yeah. So again, be like Brodie Adler and go ahead and do that thing, follow the stuff, and subscribe to you know what to do, right? But if you don't believe our word for it, and I don't know why you wouldn't, well, here's Pro Wrestler Zeta Zhang.
Hey, this is Zeta Zhang. Make sure you subscribe